Hello and welcome to Lab 13. Thus far, I hope you found this series of labs interesting and easy. All right, quite illustrative and illustrative enough. In Lab 13, we are going to be looking at C, Linux, Booleans, and ports. All right. So what we're going to be doing very basically is that we want to modify SELinux or SELinux policies by managing the allowed ports and Boolean settings for service control. All right. So what we are going to be seeing clearly is that how strict SELinux is and why we have to sometimes modify the rules in order to allow services to function correctly. All right, so we are going to adjust the SELinux policies to grant the Apache to grant Apache access to a custom port. What is Apache? Apache is simply the open source HTTP service that on which most websites uh, are run from. All right, it's owned by the Apache Foundation, Apache Software Foundation. So, without wasting so much time, can we go to our Fedora or Amalin to set OS and get this done with? So, good. So we are in. So the first thing we want to see is the allowed Apache ports that are available. All right. So we're going to see sudo say manage port minus L, and then we are going to say grep HTTP. All right, so this is simply going to list all the ports that are currently permitted for hypertext transfer protocol. All right, traffic. So by default, normally Apache would use 80 and 443. All right, so we want to ensure that the port 80 is listed before we continue on. All right. All right, so this is HTTP. This is HTTP port, and you see we have 80 there. We have 443. All right, so um, that means by default it's enabled. All right. So the next thing we want to do is that we want to change the port on which the Apache listens on. All right, the Apache listening port. So what we're going to do is we're going to say sudo nano etc. So we want to modify the configuration file for Apache. httpd.cnf, and here what we want to do is I want to find the line that says listen 80, and then we want to change it to 82 and see what happens. All right. So there we go. So we want to change it to 82, and we save that and exist. So basically, we've instructed Apache to listen rather on port 82 and not 80. All right. And what we are going to notice is this. All right. So after changing the port, now let's restart Apache. So we're going to say sudo system control restart httpd, right? And all right, so it says job for httpd.service failed because the control process exceeded with an error code. See system control status this service and journal this. All right, the reason this failed to restart is because we changed the authorized listening port. All right, so if we did not change the authorized listening port, normally Apache would have restarted. All right, so if you want to view the system log to verify the restart error message, you just say sudo tail space -20, that's it on the screen, -20 /var /log / messages, and there you're going to find the error messages for the particular restart failure. All right, so now it shows the SELinux denial messages, restart failure messages. Okay, preventing Apache from using the port 82. This is because Apache normally was not authorized to use port 82. All right. So now we want to authorize Apache to use port 82. So what we're going to do is say sudo say manage port -a -t http underscore port t -b tcp, and finally say 82. All right, so what this means is that now if we restart Apache, it's going to restart because we've just authorized port 82 to be on reports through which our machine can access the Apache server. All right, so let's try restart and see. All right, so we're going to sudo system control ct restart httpd. Good, so it returns no failure now, meaning it's successfully restarted. Therefore, port 82 is an authorized port for Apache right now. So if you want to verify that, you can say sudo sudo say manage port -l, and we want to grab that. All right, we grab that's a search to see if that to see the attributes or the various files that have HTTP on it. All right, so let's see that. Okay, so now we have HTTP port _t, and we have 82 now because we authorized it above. All right, so if we clear that and we say let's if we clear that, and now if we say we want to restart oh sorry, okay, so it's fully restarted Apache, meaning 82 is now a pre-configured port through which our machine can communicate with Apache. All right, okay, so now what I want to do is I want to see how we can remove some custom port authorization. All right, so we want to remove 82. Okay, so what we have to say is sudo say manage port -d, so -a to add and -d to remove. All right, -t http underscore port underscore t -p, and then tcp. We want to remove the port 82. Okay, so it went successfully. All right, so 82 is no longer an authorized port. It has been deleted from the authorized ports or list of authorized HTTP ports to enforce our selling restrictions. So if we want to confirm that, we can either test a restart or we can do the grep. So we should sudo say manage. All right, -l, wanted to list it, and want to find the service, want to find the word, the string HTTP. Oh, sudo say manage. Sorry, I was supposed to use manage port. Good. So we have it there. 82 is no longer found among the list of the authorized ports. So that means we've successfully removed it. Okay. So what we want to do is that we want to now revert Apache's configuration to take it back to the same state we left it. So we're going to say sudo nano etc slash ht silicon dot sorry ht. Okay, so now what we want to do, we want to go and let it rather listen on port 80 instead of 82. Remember, we changed it from the start. So we put it at 80, we save the file and we close it, we exit. And that brings us to the end of lab 13. And in this lab, we successfully modified the SELinux Apache or ports or the SELinux port rules, allowing Apache to temporarily access port have access to port for 82. Okay, before we brought it back to the default security settings. So this is very important because ports that access gateways or access windows or holes through which one can access and transfer or share data, or receive and send data. So we want to make sure that only the authorized services are using the authorized ports. I want to make sure that by default the ports should be well configured and or well allowed or should be accessed by the correct or proper services at the proper time also. All right, so see you in the next lab and stay well.